right, well, welcome back to Endeavorosity. Today we're going to start a project that I think is really cool. It's going to be really exciting, and it's the first one that can be completed as part of a team. So you can choose a few people that you want to work with. I would say no more than maybe four maximum, but three is a really good number. Two works as well. Or if you want to complete it individually, you're more than welcome to do that. This is for a person who might be a deckhand or more because you will have wanted to learn not only how to design something and print something and send it to me to be printed, but you also want to know how to do wiring and how to wire a switch, which are all going to be important by the end. So the first thing that we're going to do, though, is we are going to be learning how to make a ship in TinkerCAD. And you'll notice that my ship also has a removable deck with the masts in place. We're actually going to use something different than these masts in place. I'm making different decisions here because you'll notice from the top of these that they did not come out real nicely in the 3D printer because it wiggles a lot. So it's going to look like this, and it's going to fit perfectly. And I think it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be some really good things you're going to learn from this. Number one, you're going to learn about different parts of a ship and designing this. Number two, you're going to learn how to duplicate things easily on TinkerCAD. And number three, you're going to learn how to do alignment so everything can be in a nice straight line. All right. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and get into the TinkerCAD. You'll want to open up a brand new work plane in TinkerCAD, and then I'm going to show you exactly what to do step by step to be able to make one of these ships, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so here we go. If you look over here, you will notice that I'm going to start here. Actually, I started looking for it earlier. You look over here, these are your basic shapes, and we use these all the time. But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a search. So I'm going to click on that little search, the magnifying glass, and I'm going to type in boat. And I'm going to hit enter, and you'll notice this little shape here will come up, which is going to be really important. I'm going to grab this and drag this down. All right. And once I've dragged this down, you'll notice on here, which is, I think, super cool, they give you different pieces here of a ship and what a ship can, the different parts of a ship and what it does. The stern is the back, the mid is the middle, the bow is the front, the beam is how far across it is on the top there, and the depth is how tall it is, essentially. All right. So I'm going to show you how we can kind of mess with a few of these things or change them because I wanted mine to look much more like like an 18th century, 1700s sailing vessel. All right, like the Endeavor was. All right. So here are the changes I'm going to make. I'm going to click in this little place here, and I'm going to change this to 40. Okay, I want my stern or the back of the boat to be a little shorter. All right, so I've made that a little shorter. I want the mid length to stay 50, and I'm going to change the bow to be 60. All right, so my front, the bow of this ship is longer. All right, you can see if you look at my little video here, you can see that the bow of the ship is a little bit longer, the back is a little bit shorter. And of course, this ship is thicker, and that is the beam. So I'm going to double the width of the beam. The beam will make it more stable, but it also will make it doesn't cut through the water as well. So when we actually set this sail, which is going to be act two or part two of this first act, is you're going to have your ship set sail. It's going to be stable in the water, but it might not go forward quite as quickly. So you'll have to make a determination. And then the depth I'm going to leave at 20. So if you take a look here, here is what my ship looks like right now. All right, if I didn't like any part of that, I could change that to some other number, but that's about what I want it to be. And of course, this is my first prototype, so I might need to change things as I go. All right. Now, the next part, this is where it's going to get kind of interesting. You're going to want to duplicate. Now, duplicate is done by holding down Control and D. So I hold down the Control CTRL button and the D, and I've made a duplicate, and then I can grab this and pull it off to the side. Now, duplicate means that it's the exact same ship. It's the same dimensions. Everything about it is the same. It's highlighted in blue right now. It looks like it's a little bit bigger because it's kind of pushed to one side, and we're on that side of that. But if I look around at this, okay, it's the same thing. Now, for what we're going to do, we're going to be hollowing it out. All right, so we're going to make it so that this ship, if you look at this little video here, the ship is empty on the inside. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this piece a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to make it a hole. All right, so I'm going to hold down the shift button. I'm going to get this into a position here where you can see what I'm kind of doing. I'm going to hold down the shift button. holding shift, and then I'm going to grab this middle piece right here, and I'm going to make it smaller. Now you'll notice that the other dimensions of this are also shrinking as well. I'm going to make it to about, let's say, 17. All right. So this one, remember, the depth of this one was 20. I made the depth of this one 17. All right. So my new ship I made smaller. I hit control. I'm sorry, shift, and then I made it smaller. So now I've got a smaller duplicate of this, and I'm going to click on hole. I'm going to make it a hole. All right, so now it's this empty hole. So now I've got two pieces. Actually, before I go any farther, let me undo that. Control Z, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to duplicate this smaller piece because I'm going to use this later. So I'm going to say Control D again. So now I've made a duplicate of this, and I'm going to move it to over here on the other side of this ship. So now, just to make sure I'm clear with you guys, this piece here and this piece here are duplicates. And they are smaller than this, our main ship. All right, so I'm just going to leave this one off to the side for use later. And we'll talk about what we're going to do with that in a little bit. All right, but I'm going to hollow this shape out right here. And the way I'm going to do that is by doing a little trick called alignment. So I can select both of these by either clicking on one, holding down shift, and clicking on the other, or I can just kind of use this box tool and it'll select both of them. Now, the cool thing is here is I'm going to line them up. I mean, they're going to put them together. And I'm going to use this tool right here, which is the alignment tool. That means I'm going to line them up. Oh, one thing I want to do first before hold on. Let me go backwards. I'm going to click this one here. I'm going to make it a hole. This is going to be key. I've made this one a hole. You have to make it a hole. All right. Now I'm going to select them both and make my change here. Okay. So now here what I'm going to do is do the alignment tool. When I click on here, you're going to see different things come up, these different dots. It means you can line them up in different ways. But I am going to actually line them up by making this one my center, and I'm going to click on here and watch what happens. This ship is going to line up right in the middle of this ship, the whole of a ship. It's right in the middle. You can't see it, but it's right in the middle. So they're lined up perfectly together in the middle. And then I'm going to raise it up by putting this up here. And you'll notice this is right here now in the middle. So now I have two different shapes, one whole and one solid together, and I'm going to make sure they're both selected. Okay, so I can do this again, make sure they're both selected, and then I can join them. And when I join them, take a look. Now you can see the ship is empty. Okay, we have an inside of that ship. Okay, so just like on my ship right here, okay, yours, if you've made that properly, will have an inside now. It'll have an inside to that ship. All right. Now, awesome. We've got that piece set. Now, the second piece we're going to do is we're going to be making the deck for this ship. Okay. And to make the deck of this ship, you're actually going to be cutting a sliver off of this duplicate, which is a duplicate for the whole. So watch this. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to be working with this by using this rectangular hole. I'm going to pull this over here. And then I'm going to do something that's kind of, you're going to think is kind of strange at first here. I'm going to pull this to cover the entire ship. In other words, I'm making a hole around the whole ship. Look at that. And since it's too close to the edge there, I'm going to move it out a little bit. Now, it doesn't matter what size this is necessarily. It just needs to cover the whole ship. And you can see right here, covers the whole ship. And then I'm going to actually lower it down. Watch. I'm going to lower this down right to here, so that only the top part of the ship is showing. And then I'm going to actually make a duplicate of this. Now, we learned how to make duplicates before, which is the Control D. And now I have a double of that, and I'm going to raise this second piece up right to here. Okay, so now I've just got this thin little piece of deck here, and the rest of them are holes. Now, hopefully you understand that by this point, what happens when we join solids and holes together is it will cut them apart. And so I'm going to be cutting this apart, which means this top piece I'm going to cut off, and this bottom piece I'm going to cut off, leaving just this little deck piece here, which is the same size as the hole for this. So watch. I'm going to make them all join together. Here we go. I'm going to do this. Now they're all joined together. I'm going to cut. I'm going to join, and bang. Now, the only piece I have left is this middle piece. And this middle piece will be able to fit directly inside here. Now, I want to work with this for just a minute. So I'm going to put this on the surface. So I'm going to lower it down to the surface by doing this. A lot of you still need to work on this because you give me floating pieces. All right. And then I'm going to make three holes so that I can insert dowels there. Now the dowels that we have, I believe, are like 2.5 to 3 centimeters, but I think we can work with it either way. So I'm going to be creating a few different holes in here by, let's see, I'm going to go out of this piece here, and I'm just going to make one of these, and I'm going to put it in place here. All right, now this is far too big. All right, so I am going to shrink this down, hold shift and pull this in. That keeps both sides the same size. And I want these holes to just be like maybe 2.5 millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to pull this. Actually, oh, see, I wasn't holding shift. Shift, it keeps it all growing at the exact same rate. All right, so I'm going to make this 2.5 and hit enter. So now it's only 2.5 wide, but I want it to be taller. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to start raising this. And I can see a number here. I'm going to make that number, actually, you know what? I'm not going to make that number anything. I'm just going to make it a hole. Sorry, I don't need to make it much bigger than a hole. But I'm going to duplicate this 3 times so I can have 3 different masts that I'm going to put in there with these wooden dowels, all right? So I'm going to pull this over here, just anywhere that I want in the middle. I'm going to click Control D to duplicate. Duplicate. And I'm going to pull it off. Yep, there I've got another one. I'm going to pull this about that far. Now I can experiment. This is just an experiment, so I'll try to put that one in later. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to say Control D again to make another one. And I'm going to pull this one all the way over here. Now, you'll notice I have 3 different holes, and I want these to be all the way down at the bottom. Okay, so they're going to be touching the workplace because I want them to cut through my hull, or my deck, I should say. Okay, they're going to cut through the deck. And I want them to align. So take a look. I'm going to pick all the items right here. Hold on, let me get a nice big square. I'm going to pick all these items together. Now I've selected all 3 holes and my deck, and I'm going to, of course, align them. So I'm going to press this one again. This is alignment. You could hit L, but it'll bring up these nice, cool little circles again. And I'm going to press this button right here. And boom, all these 3 holes are right center aligned right there in my ship, which is pretty awesome. And then I'm going to click Join. And let's see. Hopefully, let's see. Did I join them all together? I can't tell. Ah, yeah, there they go. It just took a second. But look, there's 3 holes. I can insert the wooden dowels in there later. I can see how that works out, okay? So I click those 3. Now, the one more thing that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to do this, is to put a little captain's quarters in there right now. I'm going to put those. You'll notice I put 3 holes in them. You will not need to do that. Don't worry about doing that yet. You can do that in your refinement later. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this right here. I don't want it to be huge because it'll get in the way of the wind. It'll block the wind probably. So I'm going to lower this down to about that height. If I wanted to put in holes, let's say I just put in one, okay? Let's just put in one just for fun. I'm going to put it on the side of this, and then I'm going to make it shrink in size. I'm going to move it up. So I'm going to put it like right in the middle. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this aligned correctly. All right, now I'm going to make it a little smaller. Put it right there. Let's see if I made it long enough to be able to cut all the way through the ship. I did not. I failed to do that. So to do that, you're going to want to click on that, and you're going to want to drag it out so it goes the whole length of it, and it's going to cut through. And now I can go out and I can select everything again right here. I want to go to the other ship, and I'm going to join them. There we go. And that gives me a first chance. Now, I made some things backwards on here, which I can talk about later in a further episode here that we have. But this is my ship, and I can take wooden dowels and put them into these slots. All right. So hopefully you learned a few things: how to duplicate things, how to align things. Hopefully you understand what the stern and the bow and the mid part of a ship are, the beam, which is the width of it, and the depth, from the water line down or from the deck down. So hopefully you learned a tremendous amount. Hopefully you're going to send me some awesome designs of ships that I can print up for you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how teams work together on this. All right, so Without any further ado, good luck and happy building.